is, or 5 reviews is outranking someone with 24. So something to keep in mind. And if we go back to this Pizza Hut example, um, you know, I guess this probably isn't really a good example because, the Pizza Hut, there's only one in my town. So this really wouldn't be a good example. But anyways, I think you kind of get the point. Is go and look at your competitors, see if it's playing a big factor. And if it is, if you're noticing that pretty much the people who have the most reviews are ranking higher, then that's something you're going to want to take into consideration before you decide to take on a client or go into that niche, right? Is, can I get that many amount of reviews? And you can have, get your clients' friends or family to leave the reviews, or if it's your own listing, get your friends and families to leave reviews. Another good tip is on Android devices, Maps is like the actual navigation that people use on Android. And when you have an Android device, you're required to have a Google account signed into the phone at all times to even use the phone. What I always tell my clients is, if you notice one of your customers come in and they have, an Android device, you can ask them to leave a review right there on the spot, because all they have to do is go to their navigation, their Maps app, their Google Maps app, type in their name, their company name, your client's name, and then they can leave the review. They're already signed in. They don't have to sign in or anything. It's just super easy. And then I'm going to show you another way to easily get people to leave reviews too. Another thing to note is that you can get, your customers or your clients to actually put keywords inside of your reviews too, which can help with ranking as well sometimes. And kind of to hit this point home, you can see here that they're actually taking tidbits out of the reviews and they're bolding them. So you notice here, they're putting a stress on wings. So they actually do put some kind of importance on, the keywords that are put into those reviews. So again, you can instruct your client or, whoever you're working with, you can say, hey, if you can get some of your customers to actually mention the word Plumbing Milwaukee in the review, that's going to really help out. So just some things to notice and to pay attention to. Again, in some cases, reviews don't really play that big of a factor in the algorithm. And in other niches and locations, it plays more of a factor. Okay, so how can you instruct your clients to have people leave reviews, like right off the bat, if they don't want to wait for people to come in with the phone? Like maybe they want to blast out to an email to their friends and family or to some of their really good customers to leave a review. Well, an easy way to do that, go into the Google Places API. Okay, so then what you can actually do is you can come into the API here and you can just start typing in your client's name and it's going to show it. Here it is, Pizza Hut on South Main Street. And it's going to give you the Places ID for Pizza Hut. So you'll want to grab this ID here. It's what I've highlighted, copy it, and what we have here on this notepad is the URL that you're going to use. So right here where I've highlighted between the left and right bracket where it says place ID, you're going to delete that, and after the equal sign you're going to put in their actual place ID into this URL. So what'll happen now is if you give out this exact URL and you open up a new window and you go to it, oops, I put a plus sign after it. What's going to happen is it's going to pull up Pizza Hut, but it's also going to pull open the window for me to leave a review right from it, which is awesome. You don't have to instruct people on how to find your listing. You don't have to instruct them on, go and click the review button. Like, it just pops up automatically. And if you want to take things a step further and make it really easy, you can come into the Google URL shortener. So you just Google URL shortener and click it, and inside of here you can paste in your link, hit shorten URL, and it's going to give you a short URL, and you can just hand this out, which is going to be even shorter. So it's up to you however you want to do it, but either way the link will work fine no matter which one you give them. But that's how you're going to find your review link, and it's just an easy way to get people to leave reviews by making it super easy for them. Alright guys, so I hope that you enjoyed this video on leaving reviews, and go ahead and start getting reviews for your listing. Google account signed into the phone at all times to even use the phone. What I always tell my clients is, if you notice one of your customers come in and they have an Android device, you can ask them to leave a review right there on the spot, because all they have to do is go to their navigation, their Maps app, their Google Maps app, type in their name, their company name, your client's name, and then they can leave the review. They're already signed in. They don't have to sign in or anything. It's just super easy. And then I'm going to show you another way to easily get people to leave reviews too. Another thing to note is that you can get, your customers or your clients to actually put keywords inside of your reviews too, which can help with ranking as well sometimes. And kind of to hit this point home, you can see here that they're actually taking tidbits out of the reviews and they're bolding them. So you notice here they're putting a stress on wings. So they actually do put some kind of importance on, the keywords that are put into those reviews. So again, you can instruct your client or, whoever you're working with, you can say, hey, if you can get some of your customers to actually mention the word Plumbing Milwaukee in the review, that's going to really help out. So just some things to notice and to pay attention to. Again, in some cases, reviews don't really play that big of a factor in the algorithm. And in other niches and locations, it plays more of a factor. Okay, so how can you instruct your clients to have people leave reviews like right off the bat if they don't want to wait for people to come in with the phone? Like maybe they want to blast out to an email to their friends and family or to some of their really good customers to leave a review. Well, an easy way to do that, go into the Google Places API. Okay, so then what you can actually do is you can come into the API here and you can just start typing in your client's name and it's going to show it. Here it is, Pizza Hut on South Main Street. And it's going to give you the Places ID for Pizza Hut. So you'll want to grab this ID here. It's what I've highlighted, copy it, and what we have here on this notepad is the URL that you're going to use. So right here where I've highlighted between the left and right bracket where it says place ID, you're going to delete that, and after the equal sign you're going to put in their actual place ID into this URL. So what'll happen now is if you give out this exact URL and you open up a new window and you go to it, oops, I put a plus sign after it. What's going to happen is it's going to pull up Pizza Hut, but it's also going to pull open the window for me to leave a review right from it, which is awesome. You don't have to instruct people on how to find your listing. You don't have to instruct them on, go and click the review button. Like, it just pops up automatically. And if you want to take things a step further and make it really easy, you can come into the Google URL shortener. So you just Google URL shortener and click it, and inside of here you can paste in your link, hit shorten URL, and it's going to give you a short URL, and you can just hand this out, which is going to be even shorter. So it's up to you however you want to do it, but either way, brand new feature. And what it does is it makes your listing stand out more in the search results. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you how to set this new feature up, what it looks like, and why it's so cool. So what you're going to want to start by doing is you're going to want to start by going to your Google My Business dashboard. Again, if you don't remember how to get to this, it's business.google.com. Otherwise, google.com/business should also take you there. So go ahead and head there, scroll through your listings, find the one that you want to add this feature to. So I'm going to click one of these, and then you'll want to click the Manage Location button on that listing. So once you do that, your listing is going to pull up here. I'm going to block out a lot of this information because this is an active client I'm working with, and I don't want anything bad to happen to his listing because there's some people out there who are haters and they like to go and mess up other people's things. So anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to come over to the left-hand side, and you're going to see this new feature over here. It's going to have to be a verified listing in order to see this feature, I've noticed. So make sure your listing is verified. You can tell it's verified because it'll have the blue checkbox and say verified. Otherwise, it'll prompt you to do that. So what you want to do is you want to click on the post button, and this is a new section that was just added. I think as of today is the first time I noticed it. I was popping in and saw it. And what you want to do is you can use this section like an actual coupon or offer thing, and it'll show up in Maps, like on the actual Maps page for your client when people search for them. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. When you click on it, it's going to give you the option to create a post. Now you can add a photo into this, which is going to make it stand out more. I've noticed that the optimal size for these are right around 750 like long, or like horizontal width. I guess I'm looking for. So 750 width by about 200 height. So if you can make an image that matches that, that's going to look about perfect. And then you'll want to go ahead and write your post. So in this case, we might say we're offering free estimates to new customers today only, or something like that. Now you can also make this an event if you want. So you could actually go and like put an event title in there, like maybe you're working with a car dealership and they're having like some kind of event going on where they're giving away like gift cards, or they're having a brat fry or something. It's something they do around here in Wisconsin. You can also add a button in. This is pretty cool, the buy button, so you can actually sell stuff right on Google Maps now. How cool is that? So you literally tick what button you want, and then you go ahead and throw in your URL here to where it goes. I mean, pretty awesome. Like, I mean, think about like a heating and air conditioning company. You could offer like a tune-up, have them go and buy right away. So very, very legit. But basically from there, you're going to go ahead and you're going to hit preview. And I would recommend, adding that photo in, because it's going to make it look just that much more better. I don't even know if that was proper English, but whatever. And then we're going to hit the publish button. Okay, so there it is. You can modify it and change it there, but let me go and actually show you what this looks like. All right, so I've done a Google search. My client is #1 for this particular keyword, and I'm going to strategically block out all of the information so that you creepers can't find him. But anyways, when you click on the listing, this is what happens. What you see here is the regular listing, but you now see this little offer thing here that pops up and grabs their attention. You click on it, it's going to expand it even further. But pretty neat. And again, when you add an image on there, it's going to stand out that much better. You can throw that buy button on there, that offer button on there. So this is another really easy way to increase the amount of people that are coming in from your listing and actually turning into clients. And your customers are going to be really happy about this. And it's just kind of like a little extra thing that you can do, and another thing that you can do to serve your clients. So I hope that you enjoyed this feature. Paul James here, signing out. Guys, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to introduce you to your new workspace. This is going to be where you're going to mostly be working out of when it comes to Google My Business and the 3-pack. So to access this dashboard, it's google.com/business, and you're going to need a Gmail account. Now, in the past, I kind of subscribed to this idea that you needed to have multiple accounts for each client that you took on. So for example, if I were going to take on a heating client, I would keep his account under a separate Gmail account and under a separate Google My Business account from, say, my dentist client that I take on. And I actually went into very strict protocols to ensure that those accounts stayed separate, like cleaning my cookies after every time I logged into the account, changing my IP address with proxies. We'd use this little app called Foxy Proxy right here to do that. But I don't believe that that's necessary anymore. Now, you could go as far as to take those precautions if you're super worried, but in the past couple years now, there's been multiple conversations I've had with employees over at Google and people who really know what they're doing at Google when it comes to Google My Business, and they assure me that Google has no problem with agencies like us working with multiple clients and helping them. In fact, that's kind of what they want. It's a partnership, and now that they're working ads into Google My Business, it's even more so leaning that direction, where they want people like us who know how to help these business owners to help them, and maybe even get them, paying them to do paid ads, which, can only benefit Google in the long run. So it's my belief now that what I would recommend everyone start doing, and I'm starting to do this myself, although it's pretty hard for me to move everything over because I've got a lot of clients, but you want to move things over into one dashboard. And not move them over, but I'm saying all future clients, I guess is what I mean. So beginners starting off, this is great for you because you really don't have to do anything. Go to your Gmail account or create a new one. Create one under like your business name, and go to Google My Business and just keep all your clients under that same account, and this is going to be like your new home. This is what it looks like. You'll have these different locations broken out that you can manage. Those of you who are previous MAPS Mentor students or coaching students, you guys are going to find this a bit different because you were logging into separate accounts. So moving forward, I would recommend you go out, you create just a Gmail account under your business name, and again, same thing, move all future clients to just stay in one account. It's going to make things so much easier, and really, like I said, it's what Google wants. If we click on Manage Location, I'll explain what this means to those of you who are newer. They have AdWords built right into this now. Okay, and I actually, we'll talk more about AdWords Express and AdWords in a future module, because I think there can be some benefits actually to this. But it's what Google wants. So I hope that that's clear. So let me walk you through the Google My Business dashboard and some of the things that you should know about it. So there's going to be two separate pages. There's Locations tab up here, and then there's a Brand tab up here. Now, Location tab is when you're working with a real, like brick and mortar business, or you're going the lead gen route. Basically what I'm teaching you how to do in this course. That's what locations are. Brand pages you don't really have to worry about, because brand pages are, if you're like just like an internet company or something like that, I guess would be a good example. Someone that doesn't really like have customers, but like maybe they have like a brand, like a celebrity, like Kim Kardashian maybe, for example, would have like a brand page, or like your favorite basketball player or football player would have like a brand page. So hopefully that makes sense. They're not going to have like a location page because they're not like a business that services customers. So we're going to focus on the Location tab. So there's a couple of different features. There's different views. You can go to like a list view to list everything. And the list view is good for showing some different statuses of things that you might need to work on. Now, just because you see statuses doesn't always mean that you have to work on it. Like, I can't find an example, but for illustration purposes, this Waukesha home heating listing, it would tell me that I needed to add a store code. Now, that's not something that I have to do, although it might help keep things, a little more optimized and just a little more organized on my end. And the store code, let me see if I can pull it up actually. Okay, see, I didn't add it in here, so it's not actually even showing it to me anymore. But a store code is good if you're working with a business who has multiple locations. Like, let's say this heating customer that I'm working with had 5 different locations. They might have different store codes for each location, right? So Google's made it easy for us to go and punch those in if we wanted to. But some other status codes you might see are like this duplicate address thing. Now that's a problem. If there's ever a duplicate address or a duplicate listing, you need to claim all of those and delete one of them, one of the duplicates, and we'll talk about that in a different video. Another one that you might see is an unverified, which is clear you need to verify it. So that's list view. I'm going to go back to card view. But list view gives you some different kinds of codes and messages that you might want. Now, once you start to grow your account, in my case, I've got several accounts spread out all over because I was doing it the old way, but once you start to grow your account and you have 100 locations or 50 or 25 all on one, you can choose how many you want to display at one time, on one page, rather than having to click next to go to the next page. All right, so that's a brief overview of that tab. Now, if we hover over the menu over here on the left-hand side, there's some different things I want to show you here. The first and foremost is this support button. Now, if you ever need Google support, this is the place to get it. And what'll happen is if you click the Contact Us thing here, during business hours, this should actually pop up to allow you to contact them live. But you have to do this during business hours. And the way it works is you fill out your name and phone number and email address, and within about 30 seconds, they'll call you back and follow up with you. Now, that being said, their support staff is pretty helpful, but you're going to know a lot more than they will when it comes to Google My Business. So you kind of need to direct them in the direction that you want them to go. Like if you're trying to verify a business, you need to like tell them, I'm trying to verify this, it's been 2 weeks, I haven't received a postcard. And you need to direct them, because otherwise, for example, if you're trying to verify a business and it's been 2 weeks but you don't tell them that, they'll be like, call us back in 2 weeks, and then that'll be the end of the conversation. So you need to make sure that you make points like that clear to them, so that you kind of direct them where you want to go. Now that menu also, if you click on like manage a location for one of these, that menu will also turn different. Okay, so it'll allow you to view like the Google Plus page. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen with the Google Plus page in the future. It's clear that they're really not making this page very accessible to people from the actual Maps listings or from the Google listings itself. So we'll see what happens with this in the future, but if you need to access it, that's how you do it. Other things, you can access the insights, which you can see right here. It's basically how many views, how many clicks, how many followers you've had. And you can access those and view that data. Not super accurate, I've noticed, the insight data. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It's kind of hit or miss. So, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on it. Photos, reviews, self-explanatory, edit info. You can also do that from right here by clicking the edit button. Back to all locations, back to brand pages, managers. This is an important part. So if you want to add in someone else to manage the page, like when you start outsourcing and stuff, you can invite them using their Gmail account right here and add them in as a manager, which is kind of cool. So that helps out quite a bit too and helps us scale. And again, goes to show that Google doesn't care if there's agencies working on listings because they've put these features into place to allow you to do that. So settings tab, really not too much over here. I believe you can control like if you want the YouTube to show up on your profile and stuff like that. Other than that, not too much to say over there. And YouTube would obviously be like if you want to connect videos to your page. Talk about adding photos to your listing. Now this particular listing is just a dummy listing, so that's why it says it's not verified. I just created it for the purpose of tutorials. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off by coming over to the photo section on our sidebar. So after you're inside of your My Business dashboard, you can click Manage Location on any of your listings, and then you'll land on this page. So we're going to come over to Photos, and we're going to go through and figure out what photos we want to add. So depending on what kind of business your client is will determine what this page looks like for you. It may look slightly different. Like, for example, a dentist may have slightly different photo categories than, say, a plumbing company. So here's what I mean. At the top, you'll notice these tabs. They say pictures at work, pictures with your team, identity pictures like your logo, profile, photo, cover photo. So logo photo, which should obviously be your logo. Everything else doesn't really matter too much from my testing. Like, here's what I mean. If you go and you put in a picture of, like a sink under the team category and it's not pictures of your actual team, like you're not going to get hit with that or penalized. And so we do this all the time because the reason why is because a lot of our clients, or if we're doing lead gen or something like that, and we obviously don't have team photos, and a lot of our clients, they don't have team photos, and I'm not going to make them take team photos, right? So it's not a big deal. Your other option is you can get stock photos. So let me show you a good example of a stock photo that might work good for team photos. So I got this one off of Deposit Photos. It's just a guy working on an air conditioning. I think it costs like $1 an image. So if you came in here and typed in plumber, for example, it's depositphotos.com. I mean, you've got tons and tons of options. So my rule of thumb with this is you should try and fill this up as much as possible. At minimum, fill it up so that you have a cover photo, profile photo, you have one categorized under at work, one categorized under team, and then you have your logo photo. So, I mean, that's at minimum, 5 in this particular case. And again, it's going to vary depending on your business category. But if you want to take things even a step further, and this probably isn't going to apply all the time. This will probably only apply to really competitive niches. You can actually look at your competitors and you can see how many photos they have. So let's say I was trying to Milwaukee. I could come in, Google it, and click on one of my competitors here, and I could just look at their map listing and see how many photos they have. So once you click on one, it'll show you the rest of them. Now this one is just from Google Maps, right? It's pulling that from Google Maps. Like that's the storefront view. But when you look at it, they only have 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, they have a lot of the same picture. 1, 2, 3. If you consider those are the same, 4 pictures. So just by doing the minimum in this niche, we're going to already have. And that's going to be the case probably 99% of the time. That's why Google Maps is so great, because it's so easy to see good results with it, because people just aren't taking it seriously. They don't know. They don't know what you guys know and what I know. So if I were to have came in here and I would have saw that my competitor Roy had 8 photos, but I only needed to fill out 5 at a minimum to make this complete, I probably would go and do 9 or 10. Why? Because SEO in general, even with maps, is about trying to one-up your competition and do one better than they do. So there's a couple of things you want to do before you upload your photos. Let me just cover one more photo source. So Deposit Photos is a great place to buy premium images. They cost you about $1 a photo. There's also a place where you can get free images, like 100% free to use commercially, and that is pixabay.com. Now you can come into pixabay.com and do the same thing. You're not going to have as many options, but you still have some that might be usable. Here's pictures of a pipe wrench, some faucet pictures. Here's a picture of a channel locks. Some of these pictures are usable. Here's a guy working on a sink. So you're going to have options, and that's 100% free, and you can download those. So what you want to do is you want to take your photos and you want to put them into like a folder, and what you actually want to do is you want to go in and rename the files, okay? So let's say my images are named 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I've named mine. If you're downloading them from Pixabay or Deposit Photos, they might be named like Deposit Photos 1389, like a bunch of numbers after it, .jpg. What I like to do is I like to grab my keywords that I'm trying to go after, or my categories, and I like to insert them into the file name. So normally, depending on what kind of computer you're on, you might right-click and hit rename. If you're on a Windows, I think you right-click properties and rename it that way. Or sometimes you can just click on the file name and rename it. So if my keyword is plumber Milwaukee, I would name it like this: plumber-Milwaukee-WI. Okay? And I would do that with each of my keywords. Go ahead and just stuff keywords into there, because this is just another way that you're going to further optimize it. And again, you're going out of your way to do something that everyone else isn't doing. And that's what's going to give you a leg up. So then we can go and post a photo here. You can just simply drop it in like this and upload it. Let's see. Oh, my photo wasn't big enough. Okay, let me just go grab one off of Pixabay really quick. Okay, so let's go and rename that photo just like we talked about. Plumber. We'll just say Plumbing Company Milwaukee, WI. Alright, great. Alright, so let's go in and let's drag that photo in there now. Now it should work because it's big enough. Okay, there we go. So there's our photo. We can click on it, and there's this little info button. And in here is where you can select the photo categories as well. So if you initially uploaded it, let's go back. If you initially uploaded it at work and you wanted it put into team, you can come click the photo, click the info button, and you can select team. So now if I go back, it's not under at work anymore. Now it's under team. So again, that's what you want to do. You're going to put that keyword into the actual photo file name, which is going to optimize it. And you're basically going to at least stick one photo into each of these sections, and that's going to make it 100% completed. I would tend to go under the at work and team section, put a couple in each of those just to make it even better. Okay, so that's photos. Go ahead and do that. It's just an easy thing that you can do to optimize your listing. Some talk about it in a lot of other videos, so you may have heard about it before up until this point. Maybe you know what they are, maybe you don't, but I'll just give you a brief overview, and then we'll jump into what they are and how I go about getting them. So citation stands for, well, people abbreviate a citation as NAP, which is basically the name of the business, the address, and the phone number. So that's where the initials come in, NAP. So when you hear people talk about citations and say the NAP, they mean the name of the business, the address, and the phone number. So when you see these details on another site, directory sites are really powerful. Like if you see it on Yelp, Angie's List, Hot Frog is a popular one. When you see those listings, those are considered local directory or citations. And when the name, address, and phone number is on those sites, it can provide like a backlink basically, which is great. So consistency is important, meaning whatever's on Yelp should match Angie's List, should match Hot Frog. They all should match. And of course, most importantly, is it should match however you put it on the Google My Business page. So here's an example of a citation, right? This information on any other site, that's considered a citation. Now, if you put on your Google My Business listing, or if it shows up as 123 Water Street with street all the way spelled out, then you should make sure it's all the way spelled out. Don't put it in there like ST if it's not in there like that. If it's in there all the way spelled out, put it in all the way spelled out, just to be on the safe side. So now that you know what a citation is, let's talk about how you get them. So let's say that you wanted to get a citation on hotfrog.com, it's a common site that we normally get citations on. One of the ways we would do that is just come to the site and click this link. It's free. Create your business profile now. Add your business, and here it is. It's just like you create any other site, any other account on any other site. Is business name, address. Just follow this wizard. If it asks for keywords, you should pop in your top level silo keywords here, and if they allow even more keywords than that, it wouldn't be a bad idea to throw in your Google categories as well. For the login name, if I'm doing a lead gen site, I'll usually just do like a fake name or my own name. If I'm working with a client, then I'll usually just use their information for this. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes citations out there already exist. So I did a search here for Dentist West Bend, and I'm going to search for this West Bend Dental Center's phone number and see what citations I can find on them. So this is one way you can find your competitor citations. So for example, here's a Merchant Circle listing, directory listing. Now, if any of the information on here wasn't correct, you'd want to make sure you update it, right? Like if the phone number didn't match. So that brings up another point. If you're going to use a tracking phone number, and I recommend that you do in most cases, you're going to need to come and claim these old citations and make sure you change the number out to your tracking phone number. Okay, so there is some work involved with that, but it's only going to benefit you in the long run. It's something that you only have to do once, and then you're going to reap the benefit of it over and over again. So anyways, every citation site is going to be slightly different, which is why I'm showing you another one. This one, it puts a little thing here that says, is this your business? Claim your business. So that's what an already existing citation might look like, and then you'll have to claim it. And again, every citation site is going to look different, so you're going to have to kind of use common sense and figure it out. But basically, you'll create an account, and that'll be the end of it. They don't normally do verification like they do with the Google My Business listings. They normally will create the account, send you an email confirmation link. Normally you'll click it, and then it'll create the account for you. One thing to note is when you're first creating citations, and you don't have to do this like spread out over time. You can do it all at once if you want. I haven't had a problem with doing them all at once, but the phone will get blown up for about a week or two after, with these companies calling you trying to upsell you into their premium listing or something like that. I normally just pass on that. So if you're doing client SEO, you might want to let your client know that. We normally give them a heads up and say, we're going out and creating you a bunch of these directory listings, and they're going to try to sell you on their premium listing, and you don't need it. I'm taking care of everything for you, so just tell them you're not interested. So how do you know which citations to go after? There's some different approaches to this. You can come to this site. It's on Moz, SEO Moz, which is a great site to follow and keep up with. But they have the best local citations by category, and then they also have it by city over here on the left. So, for example, if you're working with an attorney, you can click here and you can see the top ones for attorneys, and you can go after those. So that's one way of going about it. You can do by city. so it'll show the top cities. The other way to go about it is to reverse engineer what your competition is doing, and I'll show you how we do that. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to type in Waukesha, Wisconsin, HVAC contractor, type in your main Google category. So just like it says, they're going to send me an email when the results are ready, so I'll pause the video until that happens. Alright, we're back, so check this out. Whitespark came back and it gave me the report. Now, these are the top ranking businesses in the map. And then here's me number 1 in this case. So it's going to show you the number of citations, right? So this can kind of paint a picture for you of how many you're going to need to show up here. Now, I see a lot of SEO experts talk about with local business that citations are the only important thing when you're trying to rank in maps, and this should be enough to show you that clearly that's not the case. I mean, I'm ranking number 1 and I have the least amount of citations here, right? So if I were to look at this, the best thing to do would be to total all of these up and then divide it by 7 and get the average, right? And try to get that many as an average. But I can specifically look at my competitors and see, what citations they have by clicking this View Sources button. So you see they have Yelp, Dex Knows, eLocal, Porch, Manta, Merchant Circle. Right, Merchant Circle we covered in when we were searching for the dentist, and I can export these to a CSV file. So I could go and take that and go after those citations as well, or a combination of all of them, which is another way to go and just basically reverse engineer what your competition is doing. But that being said, be warned that there's a lot of SEO experts out there who say citations for maps is all you need, and it's not all you need. Sometimes it can be the case, but in this case it's clearly not. Sometimes backlinking is more effective. Sometimes my silo structure that I mapped out for you is more important. So there's a number of factors at play, but citations are something you definitely want to think about doing, because it's one of the easiest things to do that can get you sometimes the most results, but it's not always the case. So that being said, this is another way to gather them, and you can do it that way. Now, if you don't want to create all these citations yourself, I use this guy over on SourceMarket. I'm sure a lot of you know what SourceMarket is. Those who don't, it's a really great site. It's basically like Fiverr for SEO, and there's just tons of gigs on there. Now you want to be careful with what you buy, because you don't want to do anything spammy. No spammy SEO. There's a lot of gigs that aren't going to get you anywhere and maybe even get you penalized. So this is one that I've used often, and this seller is really good. I really like them. So they do 50 of them for 20 bucks. I believe if you pay, I think it's like $10 extra, you can give them a custom list of exactly which ones you want them to go after. But I mean, if you're just going to kind of hit the ground running, just order the 50 and he'll go after 50 of the top ones for you, and that'll be enough to get you started and approach it that way. So here I'll show you a report of what this looks like. They send you the login details and everything so that you can go back in later and edit it, and we just normally save this Excel sheet in a folder for our clients. So let me find that. Alright, so this is what the report looks like, and I'm going to blur it out because my account details are in there, but this is what the report looks like. 50 of them coming in, and from there you've got 50 citations. So this is an easy way to get a nice boost, but just remember it's not the only thing that counts, and very clear by the example I showed you, but it's definitely something you want to think about doing. At least order that gig of 50 and get started with that for a starting point, and just kind of see where that takes you. Wait a couple weeks and see where that takes you. Alright, so thanks for watching this video. I hope that this helps you out. Google, using their platform called My Maps. Now, I learned about this strategy actually in the forums from another student. So if you're not in the forums, you definitely need to be checking that out. Share what you know, other people share what they know, and we all grow together, and we all learn new stuff. So it's really important that we're all in there masterminding and just communicating with what's going on. But anyways, I'm going to show you how to grab a strategy or a citation with this strategy using Google My Maps. And it's just to get to this page, you go to google.com/My Maps. So we're going to hit create a new map. And what we're going to do is we're going to search for our listing in here. So here's mine right there. Great. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up here where it says untitled map. We're going to click it. And for the map title, we're going to enter in the keyword that we'd like to rank for. In the description, we're going to do the citation now. So we're going to do name, address, phone number. So Waukesha Home Heating. For phone numbers, I usually like to do the hyphens. It's a little more search engine friendly. Alright, and then I also like to throw in a link too. Just like that, and we'll save that. Okay, so that's it. Now, the only thing that you need to make sure that you do is hit this little share button here. And right now it's set as private. You need to change that so that it says public on the web, and save that. And that's it. This is your link. You know, if you were to go and pop that in, you can see it. Our citation is there with our keyword, and also with our backlink in there as well to our website. So don't abuse this, but use it to grab yourself a citation. It's just a great way to grab another citation. So yeah, just a cool little trick to try out. So this is going to be a quick overview on the different types of backlinks that you should be looking for, like different metrics, and just an overview for beginners. So basically, let's cover what a backlink is. I'm sure most people will probably, if you're in this course, have a rough understanding what a backlink is, but just in case, let's say CNN publishes an article about you, on their site. They have this article, and at the end of the article they say something like, click here to learn more about, I don't know, Joe's Plumbing. Let's say that was the article, and that link goes back to your website. So we'll put your site. That's considered a backlink. Now, Google determines the power of backlinks and how many of them there are going to your website as a factor in who they should show higher in the search results. So all backlinks, though, aren't created equal. That's the problem. So back in the olden days, people used to look at and when I say olden days, I mean like 4 or 5 years ago, people used to look at the quantity of backlinks rather than the quality of them, and basically it was kind of a race to whoever could get more of them won. But now it's more so a factor of quality. So backlinks run on a scale called PageRank. You may have heard of this before. It's abbreviated PR, and we're going to talk a lot about PageRank and PR, but it runs on a scale of 0 to 10. And 0 would be considered like the lowest, so we'll put L for lowest, 10 being the highest, and it can also say NA, which would mean that it doesn't have any PageRank at all. So this is the scale Google uses to judge whether or not a site is high authority. That being said, PageRank is no longer updated. It hasn't received an update for a long time. We used to see it get updated like once a year or something like that, but now it's just like non-existent. So there's a third of them. They used to be called SEO Moz, and they have their own scale. It's called Domain Authority. Okay, and this is going to be abbreviated DA. This is basically the same thing as PageRank. So they came out with this scale of basically the same thing. Instead of running from 0 to 10, it runs 0 to 100. Okay? So 0 would be the lowest, 100 would be the highest PageRank. So that being said, now you understand exactly what this stuff is. Let's talk about how domain authority relates to PageRank. So, for example, if I had a site that was PageRank, let's say PageRank 2, that would be comparable to a domain authority of 20. Okay, so do you see what I did there? I basically just came and added on a 0. So PageRank 2 will be comparable to a DA of 20. Now, let's say that we had a domain authority of 36. Okay, what do we do with that? Well, basically it would be comparable to a PageRank 3.6, or if you round it up, probably 4, right? So that's how we can basically determine and relate domain authority to PageRank. So how does this all relate to backlinks? Basically, you want to get backlinks to your site from other sites that have a higher domain authority than your competitors have. So, for example, if your competitor has, let's say, 5 backlinks coming from, I don't know, DA sites of 10 and lower. So, if they had 5 backlinks from DA 10 and lower, you could either go after 6 backlinks with DA 10 and lower, and you'd probably outrank them, or you could go after 1 to 2 backlinks with a DA of, like, let's say, 20 or 30, and that would probably outrank them as well. So it's very kind of systematic. It's a systematic approach. A lot of people think that no one really quite knows Google's secret sauce, and that's just kind of wrong. I mean, it's all laid out. It's very easy with these third-party scales like Moz Domain Authority and using PageRank and stuff like that. We can pretty much very easily reverse engineer what our competition is doing, and we can go ahead and kind of replicate what they're doing and do a little bit better than them. And that's basically, at the end of the day, what SEO comes down to. And this particular SEO that we're talking about is referred to as off-page. Okay, off-page. We call it off-page because there's things that we can do on the website, but off-page optimization has to do with like backlinks and stuff like that because we're not on the website. So off-page is anything that doesn't relate to the website. We have to go on a different site to do it. So backlinking would definitely fall under that categorization. Alright, so we'll jump into some more details about backlinking, but this is just kind of like the backlinking 101 beginner version. So hopefully this helps. And in this video, now that you know what backlinking is and some of the different metrics and what they mean, we're going to talk about how to reverse engineer your competitors' backlinks and actually steal them, okay? And I mean legally steal them, of course, nothing unethical. But that being said, you can sometimes do a lot of damage, and by damage I mean that as a good thing. You can get pretty good rankings sometimes by just reverse engineering what your competitors are doing and basically doing the same thing. With a combination of doing what all 3 of your competitors are doing, you may be able to one-up them all just by combining all 3 of them. So I'll show you what I mean by that. You'll want to have a spreadsheet handy for this, and this is just really easy. This is something really easy that you can do. It might not be enough to get you ranked in all cases, but in some scenarios it might be enough, so it's worth a shot. So I normally keep that spreadsheet handy, and then what I like to do is go find your top 3 competitors in the 3-pack, okay, and pull open their website, copy it, and then use Majestic. Pop into Majestic, paste in their URL here, hit search, and let's go and analyze their backlinks. So what you want to do is you want to just open them up in separate tabs, go after a few of them, and we'll just start with that. I think that might be enough to give us the full picture. So what we're going to do is we're going to look on here for their backlink, and I'm not really seeing anything here. I do see something down here that says list your business. So this could potentially be a spot for us to get a backlink, so maybe I'll mark that down in my spreadsheet. So what I'm doing is I'm going to compile a huge list in an Excel sheet of any potential site where they got a backlink from that I too might be able to get a backlink from. The theory here is pretty easy. It's if the site that backlinked to them gave them a backlink, then chances are, if I'm in the same niche and I have good quality content too on my site, they also might be willing to give me a backlink. Sometimes for free, sometimes for paying them. You know, you might be able to pay them to do it. Here's a perfect example of what I mean by that. So in this site, it says sponsors. So these people all got backlinks on this site from sponsoring them. Okay? So that's what I mean by paid. So I'm going to mark that down. That could be an opportunity for me to maybe pay a small donation or something like that, and they might be able to go ahead and give me a backlink. Alright, this site doesn't look like it's any good anymore. Okay, here's another perfect example. Alright, there's a contact us link here. Here it says business owner. Looks like some type of listing. So directory listing of some sort. So I'm going to note that one down. That might be a spot where I can potentially get a backlink from as well. Alright, let's check this out. This looks maybe like a private blog network of some sort, or a paid link. So probably aren't going to get a link on here, because I'm guessing that they probably built this out themselves or something of that nature. Okay, so anyways, I'm not going to go through and bore you with the details of going and grabbing a bunch, but the next thing I would do, the next logical step would be to grab the number 2 person and then go through all of their links. So what will happen is I'll combine a huge list of links here that's a combination of all of these guys and go after them, and hopefully I'll have more than any of them because I grabbed a combination of all of them. And you want to wait 2 weeks, a week or two, when you're doing any type of SEO, like any type of backlinking or anything like that, because it can take Google some time to recognize the changes that you've done and to index stuff. So you definitely want to wait before you kind of think, oh, this didn't work. Don't let 3 days pass and say this didn't work, I need to try something else, because it might work. You just have to give it a week or two. Alright, so this is just easy backlinking. We're going to get into some of the complex PBN stuff, but for those of you who are newer or who don't want to spend any money on PBNs, this is a really good free alternative that a lot of people overlook. And SEO in its simplest form is basically this, and you can do a lot just by reverse engineering your competitors. Now I'm going to have another video about stopping people from doing that same thing to you, because obviously you don't want your competitors to reverse engineer your backlinks, and there is a way that we can stop that from happening. So make sure you check out that video. We'll title it something like stopping competitors from stealing your backlinks or something like that, or protecting your backlinks. So look out for that one as well. So I'm going to break down an alternative to DomCop. Now, you'll hear me and Patrick talk about this site that you're about to see in our interview together, so definitely check that out too. But this site is called Register Compass, so I'm going to break down how to use it and exactly what you can do with it. You can choose to search by relevancy if you want by typing in keywords up here, like you can type in plumbing or something, and then you'll find relevant PBNs based on plumbing, but you don't find a lot that way always, because there's not always PBNs available or expired domains available. Alright, so let's go ahead and just start digging through it. So I'm going to select just the top level domains, just the .com, .net, and .org, and you can come down here and choose your language. There's lots of options, go through them all. So let's just go through here. I'm going to choose an auction register. I'm just going to go with Namejet. You can check out the other ones. GoDaddy, in my opinion, is kind of useless to check out, because you can check those out using the Moonzy or prdrop.info as well. Those are free tools. Register Compass is a paid tool, so you might as well at least use it for Namejet or Snap Names if you're going to use it. And for auction type, we're going to do pre-release. This is how we're going to scoop up the best deals usually. Okay, you can say expires within the next however many days. You can set that here if you want. I'll just leave it blank for now. Let's see what else. Domain authority is important. That is, let's see where that's at. Right here, domain authority. So let's put a domain authority of, I don't know, 19. We want at least 19 or higher, so we'll put 19 or higher. You can select the domain age if you want. If you want like an age domain, you can select that here. I'm not going to put in any age. I don't care. I do want a trust flow greater than 10. So I'm going to put trust flow greater than 10. And that should be good to go. Pretty much any trust flow above 10 is good enough. So we're going to hit find domains, and we're just going to see what we can come up with. Alright, so we're going to be clicking on the expired domains right here. Alright, lots of results. So we can come through here. I'd like to sort by domain authority. So let's select domain authority right here. Now it's sorted by highest to lowest. So you can come through here and see how long it is until it's going to expire. You know, a lot of days left. This one has 2 days left. It's got a domain authority of 51. So we could go through and we could just go through our search, you know, go into Majestic and check out the stats, go into Wayback Machine and check that out. And then if we decide that it looks good, we would click on this little pin, or not the pin, I'm sorry. We'll click on the info button. That's going to pop up a new window for us, and we can come down here and hit place bid, and that will allow us to bid on this auction. And minimum bid $69. No bids on it yet, so we'd have a really good chance at winning it for just $69. Alright, so that's Register Compass. Pretty cool tool, very helpful. And if you're looking to pick up domains that haven't dropped yet, still indexed and all that good stuff, then this is a very good route to go. And I'll leave a link for Register Compass below the video.
I'm going to show you a really cool strategy for sending social signals and also searching signals to your profile and also your website. This is something I've been experimenting a lot with, and I've seen really positive results with the Waukesha home heating listing. You noticed when we analyzed the citations, there was very little in terms of citations compared to my competitors, and I think if you analyze backlinks, you'll see the exact same thing, very, very little. I spent some time on OnPage, although I didn't even use the same silo, but most of what I think contributed to that ranking was actually the searching and the crowd searching thing. So I'm going to show you what that's all about. Now this is a fairly new platform for me anyways. I heard about it a lot, but it's I missed the launch date of it, so I didn't actually get in until recently. But I was doing this a different way, but just paying more money for it, basically hiring people individually to search. So what crowd searching is they literally go into Google and they'll type in the keyword that you're trying to rank for, and they'll go through and okay, so I mean, even if it's like 10 pages back or whatever, or even if it's more back here, they'll go through and they'll find your site and they'll click on it, and they'll sit on the site for as long as you want them to. If you want them to click through pages, they'll click through pages. So that's basically what it is. So that sends a signal over to Google that, you know, people are searching and their search is ending on your site, most importantly, because at the end of the day, Google is a search engine, and if they're not solving people's problem, you know, their problem that they need to solve is if they're looking for something, they need to end that search. So when they land on your site and their search ends there, that sends a signal to Google that, okay, this is relevant for this keyword. So I think that's what contributed big time to this ranking, and this platform that I'm about to show you is a really cost-effective way to get this done, and it's something that I'm using a lot now. So that being said, and social signals, this platform does as well. Social signals are, you know, like +1s, tweets, Facebook shares, Facebook likes, that kind of thing. That also contributes into ranking as well. So I'll have a link underneath this video because, like I said, this thing isn't even launched, but I've got a link to get private access for you guys. So it's credit based. Basically, you buy credits for the system, and then as much as you want people to search, you spend credits on that. So I mean, it's more cost effective to buy more credits up front. You can check out the pricing, you'll see what I mean. But anyways, let's go through and let's add a new campaign. So what you want to do is you want to come in here, name this campaign something like your client's name. So I might call it like Waukesha Home Heating. And the URL. So I've been experimenting with two different things. Putting in the actual website, you know, just like in this case, WaukeshaHomeHeating.com. I'll pull it down so you can see it. So putting in the actual website. The other thing I've experimented with is going into the listing, going to the actual Google Plus page, and putting in a link to here. Now, when you grab this link, depending on if you have a custom domain, which is fine if you do, you know how it says instead of numbers, it'll say / Waukesha Home Heating. You can do that too. Google will give you the option, I think, at the bottom sometimes of the About page. Somewhere right here, get URL. So you can do this. It'll say google.com / plus Waukesha Home Heating. I didn't bother for this listing. Again, I figure if it's not broken, I'm not going to try and fix it. But if you want to, you can do that. But anyways, you're going to grab this link here. I think you only need to grab the first string of digits, so just test it out. Actually, that didn't work, so let's try it again. I'm going to... Let's try this. Okay, I'm going to try it in a new incognito window. I want to make absolutely sure I've got the right link. Okay, so here's the link. So do it in like an incognito window if you're logged in, and then remove the / about from the URL, and this will be like your shortest version of it. So let's try it again. Perfect. So it'll default to the post page, but I like to take the / off of it so that the link just flows, you know, right through anywhere. Is what I prefer to do. So anyways, grab that URL and you can paste that in here too. So I've been experimenting with both right to the plus page and then also to the website. I don't check this exact box. Exact means that it has to have exactly this. So I don't do that because, like I said, I don't care if they go to like the post page or the about page. It doesn't really matter. So the keyword, you know, this is the keyword you want to rank for. So if you want to rank for HVAC contractor Waukesha, then that's what you would type in here. Alright, and then select the search engine. We're going to do Google, and next step. So this can take a couple minutes, so I'll pause the video while we wait for this to gather the information. Alright, so we're back. This is what everything looks like so far. So we've got our campaign name, URL, keyword. We already entered all of that stuff. So geolocation browsing. Turn this on. Select your country. Select your state. You can go as far as to select a city too. I normally don't bother, but if you want to, you can. So internal browsing, I leave this on. That's like if they go into your website, you can have them click around to different pages. I think that's important. You can do random browsing, which means they'll randomly click on different pages, or if you turn this off, you can specify which pages they click onto after they visit your URL. I normally just leave it as random because I think that looks more natural, but you know, if you wanted them to go throughout your silo or something like that, you could do that. Bounce back. This is really cool, and I recommend you leave this on. So what bounce back is they go to Google first. They'll type in Waukesha HVAC contractor or whatever your keyword is. And what they'll do is first they'll click on your competitor. So they'll click on Tom's Heating Service. They'll let the site load, and they'll immediately hit the back button and bounce off of it. So what is that signifying to Google? It's signifying to Google, oh, Tom's Heating Service wasn't the choice for the customer. They weren't interested in Waukesha HVAC contractor for Tom's Heating Service. And then they come and they click on your website. And then they stay on your website. They don't bounce off of it. So what it's doing is it's showing Google, alright, this person didn't solve the search, this one did. Let's put this one higher. So that's kind of a cool feature. I like to leave that one on. Play video embeds is for video, so not really concerned with that. Social sharing I leave on. So you can put in how many retweets you want per month, how many favorites, how many Facebook likes, how many shares, you know. You just go in here, depending on what you put in, it's going to tell you how many credits it's going to consume. And then Smart Rank, it'll you can either turn this off and you can say how many searches you want per month and how many minutes. I normally just leave SmartRank turned on. So that's it, guys. This is social signals and crowd searching, and it's a really powerful strategy that has been experimented with recently. Like I said, it's one of the huge factors of why Waukesha HVAC contractor is ranking for us. I mean, clearly you see the citation is low, the backlinks are low. The on-page is okay, but not even that great of a silo. Mostly is contributed to this. So experiment with it. It's a neat strategy, and the link is below the video if you want to get access to this platform to check it out. But it's not required by any means, but it is something that's new and something that is pretty effective nowadays, and it's great for videos too. I'm going to show you the strategies that you can use to find low-hanging fruit niches, and the reason why you might want to go after a low competitive niche is not because that you can't rank with Maps Mentor in high competitive niches, because you definitely can. We do it all the time. It's because you'll spend less time and less money ranking in the low-hanging fruit niches, and you'll do a lot less work. You might find that when you target one of these low-hanging fruit niches that you only have to apply some of the stuff in Maps Mentor and not all of it. Like maybe you just do really good on-page website optimization, or maybe you just do some backlinks, or maybe you do some citations, and maybe that'll be enough to do just one of those things to boost your listing up. Whereas if you enter a competitive industry, you're going to look at doing all of the things. So something to think about. So the first thing I look at, and obviously I'm going to point this out right away, is when you search for your keyword or your niche and your city, there should be a 3-pack that shows up. Like if I do excavator Cedarburg, there's no 3-pack. So if you don't see a 3-pack, that kind of X's it off the list right away. Alright, it means that Google doesn't think that the keyword gets, enough importance to even show a 3-pack. So if it's not showing one, then stay away from it. So that's first. Make sure there's a 3-pack. Other than that, one of the first things I look at is the number of reviews that the top 3 have, the 3-pack have. So I see, in this example, they have 5, there's 1 here and 2 here. Alright, reviews play a factor in optimization. They also play the biggest factor in conversion. So, if we have to compete with people who, have hundreds of reviews, that's a lot of work and something that I usually stay away from. Alright, so like if we look at another search, Dentist Los Angeles, we can see, these reviews start to jump up into the 30s and almost 40s, right? And it definitely plays a factor in ranking to some extent. So my advice is, if you start to see stuff that looks like this is definitely not low-hanging fruit. You can pretty much determine that based off of the review count alone. Alright, so anyways, this is the kind of stuff I look for. Now, website icons, this can also be a dead giveaway of whether or not the niche is saturated or not saturated. Now, this niche, it's safe to say it's not saturated, just because not even the whole 3 have 5-star ratings. 2 of them don't even have that. But we can find even lower hanging fruit than this, which, might be good, might not be. But and you have to use keyword research too to kind of help you pick out a niche. So that should be a given. You should go through the keyword research module as well to help you pick out a niche, because you'll want to see search volume and suggested bid, which might not make a whole lot of sense now, but it'll make more sense when you go through that module. So use that hand in hand with this module to pick out a niche. But here's what I mean by that. If I do Dentist Thiensville, these 2 have website icons, but this one doesn't. So what that means is Shore Peter JDDS listing is ranking without even having a website. So that really goes to show that it's low competition. Now, again, you would use keyword research to kind of determine if this is even a niche worth going after or not. But, most likely you still get some leads out of here too. And probably with very little effort. You could probably just slap up a new listing, put a website on it without doing much anything else, and you probably rank with something as low competition as this. Okay, so let's pretend that Dentist Cedarburg is what we wanted to target, and kind of passed our review check. That all looks good. There's not too many reviews, so I think we're good there. The next logical thing to look at would be how many backlinks are coming into the website. So, you can go through and analyze all of your competitors, all 3 of them, or you can just go with, maybe the top one or whatever and use that. So let me show you kind of what I do. So I grab their URL link up here, and I use a tool called Majestic to do this. It's majestic.com. And I think you can use certain features of Majestic for free. I'm not sure exactly which ones, but otherwise if you set up a paid plan, it runs you like $120 every quarter, so like every 4 months. But what you want to do is you want to plug in the URL here, and we're going to talk a lot more about Majestic when it comes to the backlinking module as well. So it's a really valuable tool. But you plug in your competitor's URL here and hit search, and I'm going to show you the main metrics we're concerned with here. The main metric we're concerned with is referring domains. I like to see this number under 25, like pretty much well under 25. If it starts to creep up to 25, then I start looking at these 2 metrics at the top here, this trust flow and citation flow. Now, particularly what I'm looking at between these 2 numbers is, are they close together? So if my trust flow was 25 but my citation flow was 10, that would be pretty far apart. And what that would signify to me is that they have not very good backlinks, that Google's not going to give them much credit for those backlinks. So if they had 25 backlinks and they were far apart, that would signify to me that it still could be acceptable, because I can probably compete with that by going after really good backlinks. So if this referring domain number, which this is the backlink number, this means that they have backlinks coming from 8 different domains. Okay, you may wonder what this number is, external backlinks. We don't pay attention to this one much because these backlinks could be coming from the same sites. They could have like 5 backlinks on one domain on separate pages. So we're more concerned with the referring domain number. Alright, so I want this to be under 25. When it starts to creep up to 25, I look at the trust flow and citation flow to see how far apart they are. But worst case scenario, I think I can get 8 really good backlinks, or 9 to outrank them. And chances are I'll probably need even less than that, because there is some separation here between citation flow and trust flow. So that would be the next logical thing to look at and analyze that on your competition. And we'll dive into more about Majestic. I'm bringing in an expert at domain buying, and Patrick, his name is, he'll talk more about Majestic too. But this is really all you need to know about Majestic at this point. Alright, so hopefully this helps you in picking out a niche. Use this video hand in hand with the keyword research video, because they kind of go hand in hand, but it should give you some ideas. Oh, one last thing too. Those of you who are going the lead generation route, where you're going to do like the rent a mailbox and sell the leads, if you're looking for niche ideas, HomeAdvisor is a competitor in the space of selling leads. The thing with HomeAdvisor is their leads aren't exclusive, so they'll send the lead to 5 different contractors at once, and they'll still charge them all for it, even if their competitor got the job. So they send it to 5 different people, and whoever gets the job first is the winner, and they still charge all 5 people for the lead. So they're your competitor, but they're not, it's not really threatening, because everyone I know that's used HomeAdvisor doesn't really care for them too much. But the reason why I'm showing you HomeAdvisor's site is, if you're going to go that route, it only makes sense to kind of reverse engineer the niches that they're targeting, because they have this system down. So if you're looking for niche ideas for lead gen, this is a great place to start. You can go in here and look at all of the different types of categories, gazebos, concrete, awnings, different stuff, and that'll kind of help you pick out a niche. So anyways, I hope this video is helpful, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Putting this as an updated video because since the last keyword video, which I'm going to leave that one up too, because there's some good stuff in that video on the whiteboard, but you'll notice that the AdWords keyword planner no longer is showing the exact data anymore. So I'm shooting this updated video as a way around it, and this is what I've been using now for a while, and it's excellent. So you want to go and download this free plugin. It's called Keywords Everywhere. So you just go to keywordseverywhere.com, and it's a Chrome plugin and Firefox, so you have to use one of those browsers. So you'll click install for Chrome and go ahead and actually install the tool. And then what's going to happen is it's going to put this little thing, I'm going to have to move my browser over so that you can see. Okay, so what's going to happen is it's going to put this right here. It's a little K thing, and when you click on it, you're going to have to go to update settings, and then inside of here you're going to have to insert your API key. Okay, so it's this little box right here, and then click validate. Now you can get your API key right here. Just click this button, get your free API key, and then I think they email it to you. Yep. So you enter your email, they'll email it to you. And again, it's free, 100% free, and it's like one of the coolest tools that I've ever used. I really, really like it. So what's going to happen then is you're going to be able to follow the other keyword research video, which is probably either above or below me, and the only difference is you're going to use this tool to research the keyword. So if I come in here and type in plumber Chicago, you just go to regular Google, type in your keyword like plumber Chicago, and check it out. Underneath each search, it's going to show you the monthly search volume. So like in this case, $1,600 a month. It'll show you the cost per click. So in this case, $21.41. And if you scroll to the bottom, this is really awesome. I really like this part too. The related searches that pop up for plumber Chicago, they're going to also show you the monthly search volume for that and the cost per click too. And you can actually favorite this stuff as well, which will add it to like a list. So you can go to your my favorited keywords, and when you start favoriting them, they're going to be there for you to export, which is great. I mean, it's just a super useful tool, and you can export it as a CSV file. Okay, so there you have it. That is the new way to do keyword research. Still go through the other video as well, but just keep in mind during the other video I'm going to be using a different tool called AdWords Keyword Tool, and that tool just doesn't show the exact data anymore. Well, what Google did is they took that data out and reserved it only for people who are paying AdWords ads. So this is our way around it. Now we can see the data without having to pay them for ads, and it's great. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Check it out and enjoy. A lot of people asking how they would go about ranking in multiple cities, like say you're working with a gym, right? Like a place where you go to work out. And let's say they have 5 locations and they're all the same name. How would you go about doing that? And can you rank like in multiple cities and that kind of thing? So the answer is you want to look at your competition and what they're doing. And I've got kind of a website structure set up, but I want to show you this first. So basically, the first thing people usually ask me is, I have a client who's in Milwaukee, but West Allis is really close by. If they're in Milwaukee, can I also rank them in West Allis without needing a separate address? So the answer is you really want to look at your competitors. Pull open a map listing and look and see, when you type in your keyword roofer Milwaukee, are there any roofers here that are ranking in West Allis from there? Or like, let's say Brookfield, for example. Are there any roofers that are ranking in Brookfield that aren't actually from Brookfield? So you could actually come in and look at this. So this one's from Brookfield, this one's from Brookfield, this one's from Brookfield. So the answer is no in this case, right? So if you were to come in here and you were to see, that there was someone from Milwaukee ranking in Brookfield, then there's a good chance that you might be able to as well. But in most cases, the case is going to be that you're going to need an address in that city if you want to rank in that city. So then the question becomes, well, if I'm going to need separate addresses to rank in separate cities, do I also need separate websites? And that answer is kind of both. You can go either way with it. So I want to show you an example of the gym around here called Anytime Fitness. And I want to show you basically kind of what they do. So they have all of their listings titled the same. They have a location in West Bend, which is near me, Hartford, which is 7 miles from me. But when we click on the website, I'm going to open up the website for West Bend, and I'm going to open up the website for Hartford. When you look at West Bend, they have a separate landing page for West Bend here. So they need a separate address to rank in West Bend, and they didn't use a separate website. They're still using anytimefitness.com, and in Hartford they're still using anytimefitness.com. But what they did was they created separate pages on their website for each location. So basically, separate addresses, same website, but separate pages on the website for each location. So this is kind of how I would do this, and how I have done it, because we have clients where we've ranked in 52 different cities, and it's the same company essentially, and we just created separate pages. So basically, on this page, we would have one city. So what I would recommend you do is take your main Google category, so maybe you're a plumber, and make this page title something like Plumber Milwaukee, and make that your /. So, for example, if your website is, let me make this font smaller. If your website is plumber.com, make it a little bit bigger. Okay, let's say you're bobsplumber.com. Basically, this page URL would be something like Milwaukee or something like that. Or Milwaukee Plumbing Company, if that was your category. Let's say your category was plumbing company, then that would what you want your page URL to be based around. And then let's say you have a location in Brookfield. So let's just say this part of the silo. And if you haven't watched the website structure module, you should watch that first. But otherwise, this might not make a whole lot of sense. So let's say they have a location in Brookfield that they also want to rank for, then they'll put that over here. So then basically the top level of their silo, basically this box here is going to be the different cities. And then the keywords moving down the silo, they're going to be different keywords, like maybe here he's trying to rank for drain cleaning, but this would be drain cleaning Milwaukee, since that's the city. And then if he's trying to rank for drain cleaning over here too, well, this would be drain cleaning Brookfield. So basically what you do is in the website section on your Google My Business dashboard, instead of linking them to bobsplumber.com and just leaving it as that, for the Milwaukee one, you'll link them to Bob's Plumber, the entire thing, bobsplumber.com / Milwaukee Plumbing Company. For the Brookfield one, you'll link them specifically to this page, bobsplumber.com / Brookfield Plumbing Company. But the silo will still work the same way, your top level goes down, and then everything interlinks together up to the next level. And again, if this doesn't make sense, then it's because you didn't watch the website structure video. You should watch that first. But basically, the silo is, pretty much the identical thing. The only difference is the top levels of the silo, and each column of the silo is based around a specific city. So this column would be based around Milwaukee, this column would be based around Brookfield, maybe this column is based around whatever other, Delafield or something. Okay, so that's how you would handle multiple locations. There's, the other way to handle it would be to create entirely separate websites for each location. It's a lot more work though. So I would start with this and see what kind of results you have. And if you're not having great results, then you might look at creating separate websites, because that's going to give you more control. But I think in 90% of the cases, you're going to be able to do just fine with this. I'll show you how we go about outsourcing content writing. Now, you have your silo all mapped out. You need a 300 to 500 word article for each of your pages. So, this is what you're looking at: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 10 articles, right? So I need 10 300-word articles, roughly. I can either write them myself about the, said topic, or what I like to do is I like to use this site to outsource it. So I'm going to run through how I do it. So I come in here, I hit Get Content, and I'm going to hit Next. And what I want to do is I want to have articles written. Project description. I normally like to put something like this. Write for an I'm going to put heating and cooling company. I don't want to put HVAC because I think that many outsourcers might not understand what that means. So I'm just going to say heating and cooling, category home improvement,
300 words. Alright, so this part is kind of important. There's basically 4 different types of writers on this site. What this site does is they compile a huge group of writers, and then as people start paying them to write articles, you're able to rate them at the end based on their article quality. So that's what this scale is based off of. Now, the higher the rating that the article writer has, the more they get paid, and the more you pay for the article. So if you do a basic, it's going to be submitted to all writers, which will cost you $2 per article. So that would be a good starting point, but you're going to have to do a lot of editing on that article. It's going to come back and have some grammatical errors, stuff might not make sense, so you'll still spend some time modifying it. So I like to go with premium. This puts you between 4.1 and 5 star, and you do a lot less editing, a lot less grammatical errors. I don't like to go with Elite or Elite Plus. It just starts to get really expensive. You know, $7 an article. The Elite Plus is really expensive, like 17 or 21. So I go with this one, $4.50 per article. So I just plug in the minimum. That's what I do every time. And now I'm just going to start punching in my keywords. So air conditioner, air conditioning. So just one per line. Central air conditioner, HVAC, heating and cooling. I'm looking on my other computer because I have the silo diagram over there. Heating and air conditioning, furnace, furnace repair, gas furnace, and furnace tune-up. Alright, and again, I just grabbed it from my silo. Just grabbed each box, punched it in. So here's my total project cost, $45. Professional tone for the writing style is usually what I go with. So article purpose, to convince visitors of our company website that we are the heating and cooling company that they should choose to work on their home. So just say something of that nature. Special instructions. I like to say, do not copy, must be 100% unique content. And that's it. Now, a lot of people ask me, a lot of students in the past have asked me, do I submit my project to a list of specific writers? You know, surely if I'm on here writing articles all the time, I must have a list of people that I like to work on my stuff. And actually, I don't. And the reason why is because normally what me and my team do is we come in here in the morning, we punch in our stuff, and usually by the evening we have most of these articles done for us. So that's why I just like to let whoever comes to it first do it. And usually as long as you go with this premium, you end up with pretty good stuff. And you can always decline it if you don't like the article too. So that's it. Submit the project, and you're good to go.
WordPress setup on your website. If you already know how to do that, then feel free to skip this video, but I did want to include it for anyone that maybe doesn't know how to do that. So it'll be really quick, like 5 minutes.
So I use Bluehost, which costs you only $3.95 a month. And the great part is when you sign up for their plan, they'll actually give you that URL for free, whereas most places make you pay for the URL. So go ahead when you're on this page and enter in your billing information, and you'll be all set up with hosting. Alright, make sure you create your password for your account. You can do that just by, it's going to give you a recap of all of your site information, and then you'll just hit this blue button here to create your password. Alright, so now we're inside the account, and it's time that you set up your website. So the way we do that is I use a free software called WordPress actually, and it's really easy, so don't worry. Just hit this install WordPress button. And they're going to try to offer you a bunch of like paid options, but it's really unnecessary because I'm going to show you how to do it for free by just clicking this green button up here. So go ahead and do that. Alright, awesome. So now we need to select which domain we'd like to install it on. Now because you're creating a brand new website, you shouldn't have to even worry about this because it should be showing already. And just hit check domain. You can leave that directory field blank too, by the way. So agree to the terms and conditions and hit install now, and you're good to go. So Bluehost will ask you if you want help finding a theme, but don't worry about this. I'll show you how to do that later. Alright, so we just need to wait for this to load, and after it does, hit View Credentials. And let's hit View again. Alright, so you're going to want to note these down. These are how you log into your WordPress site, and it's going to be how you control the content. So let's click on that and head over there and actually log into the WordPress site. So WordPress is a free software. You actually aren't paying for this, you're just paying for the hosting. Alright, so congrats, you've officially installed your website. It's only been 2 minutes. Hit that My Blog button in the upper left hand corner to see what your site looks like. Looks pretty plain. Hit it again to go back to the dashboard. So navigate to Appearance and click Themes. This is how you can control the look of your site. Hit Add New, and then I like to sort by popular actually. And just scroll through these themes. There's just tons and tons of them. Find one that jumps out at you, that grabs your attention, and if you hover over it, there'll be a little install button. So when you find one, you'll want to click that installation button, that install button, and then hit activate. Alright, so we can hit that My Blog button again, and there we go. That's what our site looks like now, so looking a lot better. Let's talk about controlling the content. Right now it says Hello World. Let's navigate back to the dashboard, select Post, and Add New. Okay, so this works just like Microsoft Word. It's very intuitive, very easy. You literally just type what you want it to say. You can see there's some bolding and italicizing in the toolbar, so if you want, you can stylize stuff. If you want to insert a picture, just hit Add Media, and then select the file from your computer that you want to add, and hit Insert into Post, and it's really that easy. And then to add it to your site, just hit Publish. So let's go back and take a look at that. Awesome. So really easy, right? This stuff isn't hard. A lot of people get scared away, but it's not. So let's edit this thing that says My Blog. So we're going to go to Settings, and we're going to go to General. That's going to control that. So it's the site title and tagline. So let's go ahead and change that. And don't forget to scroll down to the bottom and hit Save Changes. So if we go back and look at it, the upper left hand corner there of the site, now it says Paul James, my website. Awesome. So the only thing left to do is this sidebar here, and this is called Widgets. So let's go back and edit the widgets. It's located under Appearance and Widgets. So just delete the ones that you don't want. By default, WordPress will insert a bunch of these ones in here, but I normally delete them all. And then I like to just drag over one of these text widgets on the left-hand side here. Just click it and drag. And then that works like Microsoft Word too. Just type in whatever you want it to say. And then don't forget, of course, to hit the Save button. Alright, cool. Let's go back and take a look. So that's it. We're done.